Messiah, Katie and Magdalena here with our hymn devotion for this coming Sunday, April 11th. In our sermon series beginning this Sunday, we will tackle the difficult question of where is God during life's dark and difficult times? We know that people have asked this question ever since sin entered the world. One of the most poignant places in the Bible where this question is asked is in the book of Psalms. One of our texts for Sunday is Psalm 88, where the author's cry to God during intense suffering in his life sounds a lot like Jesus' suffering during Holy Week, which we just passed through. Even though the psalmist in Psalm 88 laments the troubles that God has visited on him, he clings to the hope that God will still save him. Psalm 13 is a similar text that we are going to sing in our hymn for Sunday, How Long, O Lord? This psalm was likely written by King David, who was being pursued by Saul before he was king. It's another instance where God's people doubt his providence and love because of intense suffering and misfortunes in this life. So our hymn writer, Barbara Walcott, paraphrased Psalm 13 in 3 stanzas. The first 2 stanzas mirror the psalmist's frustration and anger at God. First, the hymn asks why God seems to be ignoring prayer, since there's no evidence that things are getting better despite the psalmist praying. And second, the speaker in the hymn sinks further into despair as the darkness around him or her increases. Psalm 13 verses 1 and 2 form the basis of the first 2 stanzas of our hymn. They read, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me?" We see these words reflected in the first 2 stanzas of our hymn. How long, O Lord, will you forget an answer to my prayer? No tokens of your love I see. Your face is turned away from me. I wrestle in despair. And stanza 2, how long, O Lord, will you forsake and leave me in this way? When will you come to my relief? My heart is overwhelmed by grief, by evil night and day. Because of our human limitations, we are unable to see God's greater plan or purpose during difficult times. Sometimes it's not even in our best interest to try and decipher why God has allowed a tragedy to occur in our lives or in the life of the world. In these terrible instances, God simply calls us to be humble. We must admit our inability to see the bigger picture and trust God, even if we may never have a good answer for why something happened. And God calls us to rest and trust in what we do know, that God loves us and has provided for our salvation. These ideas are reflected in the last part of Psalm 13 and in stanza 3 of our hymn. But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. And finally, from stanza 3, how long, O Lord, but you forgive with mercy from above. I find that all your ways are just. I learn to praise you and to trust in your unfailing love. Thank you for looking at this hymn with us. We look forward to examining a new hymn with you next week. God's peace.